Hey guys, back here. I'm just dropping by for a quick video. A few weeks ago, KOF 15 dropped a major trailer, and I'm pretty sure we already seen the character select screen, and there are still missing slots. So in this video, I would just like to throw out my guesses for the characters that will complete the remaining slots for KOF 15. So as we can see, there are still 4 teams incomplete on the base roster, and then 13 more slots with the KOF logo above the base roster. So the first team is led by Ash Crimson and missing 2 members. Probably the easiest one to predict. Going by the end of KOF 14, this team will be completed by Elizabeth Blantorch and the character who was just revealed a few weeks ago, Kukri. Moving on to the second team, K-Dash's team is also missing 2 members. I think we can all agree that one of them is a lock to be Kula Diamond. The interesting part of this team is that I think there are a lot of possibilities for the third member. I think the highest possibilities would be Hydern, Whip, or Nelson. Hydern and Whip because of the Ikari Warriors' history of working relationship with K-Dash and Kula, and I would say Nelson being big next possible member because of his connection to Ness, just like K-Dash and Kula. Well, I know a lot of people would assume that Hydern will be a playable character, but I'm not as certain as other people. Hydern had, always been one of the main players of the KOF storyline, but he was not always a playable character. With that said, I would still say I personally prefer Nelson or Hydern to be the third member of this team. Other possibilities would be Sylvie Pola because of her being a Ness experiment as well, and the smallest possibility that I'll give to would be Adelheid Bernstein again, another person with a working relationship with Ikari Warriors. And with all the revived characters because of the events that transpired from King of Fighters 14, we all know who is the one character that might be back that Adelheid will be very familiar with. Now, this third team is very interesting. The newest character introduced for KOF 15 and the rival heroine of shun'ei, Isla, is leading this third team and also missing 2 members. So I think the second member of this team is actually a gimme. It is the other new character named Dolores, and I really love Isla and Dolores' designs. They just fit with each other. Also, judging a scene from what we can assume as the story mode, Isla is interacting and is clearly trying to communicate to Dolores with things you basically say to your teammates. Now, the fun part of this team is guessing who the last team member would be. For all we know, it could be just another new character, but let me throw out some guesses. My first guess, which I will actually give a high percentage of possibility, would be again Nelson. I don't know, but it's just a gut feel. From what it appears to me, it feels like Isla replaced Serena and Dolores replaced Bandera Satori. And looking at them, Nelson would really fit with them, design-wise. I also think that all 3 members will have connections to different villain groups of the series. Isla is obviously going to be connected to Verse. Nelson would be obviously connected to Ness. And so, Dolores, in my prediction, will be connected to those from the past. I would even go as far as to predict that Kukri and Dolores are both connected to those from the past. Kukri specifically connected to Mukai. Now, my second choice for the last member of Isla's team will not be received well. I'm just gonna say it, but I think Xanadu got a real moderate possibility of being the last member. Last guess I'll give would be Naj. I just think she could fit with this team. Let's move on to the last team. This team is interesting because this team is in the center, in line with the Sacred Treasures team and the Orochi team, and most of all have not been revealed even one member. So considering that we only have 39 characters for this base roster, it means that all the roster for KOF 15 will be very, very important characters story-wise, and only the fan favorites for KOF 15. So for this last team, I would say this team will play a major part in the story, and one who will, as the catchphrase say, shatter all expectations. If you observe the current roster of KOF 15, what is the one glaring imbalance of the lineup? There are almost no clear-cut villains in this roster, if you notice, aside from Team Orochi. So I'm predicting that this last team will be a villains team. This team will be Team Hakeshu and will be led by the leader of the Hakeshu, Genitz. So characters who have died had been revived by the end of KOF 14, remember? And Hakeshu is one of them. So who will be the other two members of this team? I got two different guesses. The first ones who I think get the higher percentage of possibility are Hakeshu members, Vice and Mature. The second ones, who I think got lower possibility, it's still a good possibility, would be the other Hakeshu members, Ryuji Yamasaki and the revived biological father of Leona Hydern, Gaidel. There is a possibility that for the first time in a KOF game that all 8 members of the Hakeshu will be playable. Just imagine that. Enough of that, let's move on to the remaining 13 slots with the KOF logo. I want to say that these are unlockable characters either by gameplay or by early DLC purchase. Almost like early extra add-ons. It's still DLC, but not like DLC that's gonna be available years into the game. I just don't see DLCs already having reserved slots and planned this far ahead. So we got 4 teams and 1 solo participant as shown in the slots. These are teams that are still major players in the storyline, in my opinion, of the Verse Saga, and are also, at the same time, fan favorites, as I said earlier. One of the main things that had been mentioned in KOF 14 in regards to Verse was the mystery of the Secret Scrolls. And the first 2 teams that I'm predicting are heavily connected to it. So the first team is going to be led by Rock Howard, and the second team is going to be led by Geese Howard. So who would be the members of these teams? For Rock Howard's team, I think the shoo-in for this team is KOF's favorite taekwondo master, Kim Cup-1. Kim Cup-1 should be in KOF. But the third member of this team is gonna be much more open. I think it could be any of the Fatal Fury affiliated fan favorites. Just take your pick. B. Janet, Alice, Wataru Futaba, Gato, Tongfuru, Doug King. But I want to pitch in one character that I think makes sense, but with a lower possibility of happening. Again, speaking of revived characters, Jeff Bogard, I think got a good possibility of being the third member of Rock Howard's team. For Geese Howard's team, I think it's pretty clear cut that the team members will be the returning Billy Khan and Hein. Slight possibility of Mr. Big replacing Billy Khan and Ryuji Yamasaki replacing Hein in my opinion, but I'll still go with Billy Khan and Hein. The third team is an interesting one. So before I predict this one, let's go back to the events of King of Fighters 14 again. Several things happened here. So we already addressed the Secret Scrolls. We already addressed the death of Verse and which resulted in the revival of the dead characters. But there is another important thing that happened in KOF 14. It is the existence of dimension travel, specifically another world team with Nakoruru, Mui Mui, and Loveheart. So in the KOF 14 manga, we saw these characters making an appearance. So hinting that dimension travel is still a thing, and although I hate this to happen, here is my prediction for the third team. Team Samurai Showdown, Haomaru, Genjuro, Nakururu. So not only does it fit the story, but they already have the models of these characters from Samsho. So again, I hate this to happen, but I can see this coming true. I'll keep my prediction for the last team simple. Revive characters and Ness. So the last team will be Team Ness, composed of Zero, Chrysalid, and another Ness character. Just pick your poison. It's either Angel or Nameless. Well, of course, the highest possibility would be Angel. I mean, everyone would probably rally outside SNK if Angel is not in the game. So for the last slot, the solo participant is what I'm predicting to be the mid-boss of the game, Rugal Bernstein. So basically that's my predictions. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry I haven't been uploading as much. Hopefully uploading this video will cure my procrastination. So let me know your predictions or thoughts. This is Beck and this is Random Boredom Productions. Dosing off.